Okay, so we've covered the basics of what user experience design is and why it's important. Now, let's discuss different roles within UX design and colleagues you might work with. UX designers come from a lot of different backgrounds: marketers, artists, teachers, small business owners, cashiers, or anything really. Rather than sharing similar work histories, UX designers tend to share common skills and interests instead. A lot of UX designers have a good sense for visuals, which means you recognize when an image fits or doesn't fit in a space, or what colors complement each other. But you don't need to know anything about graphic design or even be able to draw to be a UX designer. UX designers tend to be curious about people and like thinking about how people's minds work. They also enjoy figuring out how people use products and how to make those products easier to use. UX designers are empathetic too. Empathy is the ability to understand someone else's feelings or thoughts in a situation, and it's a major part of UX. Remember earlier when we mentioned equitable design and designing for everyone? Well, in order to design for everyone, we need to understand how a person might feel or what they might think in any situation. Just like a lot of UX designers don't share work histories, they don't always share educational backgrounds either. A lot of UX designers learn on their own by taking courses like this one and teaching themselves the skills they need to get entry-level jobs. They're pretty resourceful too, tapping their experience from other jobs or hobbies to build a foundation for their new careers. So, we've covered common characteristics of people drawn to UX design. Now let's explore what those UX designers actually do. When you think of the word design, you might think it's all about the visual aspects of a product. But it's only one small part of what the UX designers might do. In fact, there are many different kinds of UX designers: interaction designers, visual designers, and motion designers. Let's start with interaction designers, who focus on designing the experience of a product and how it functions. They figure out how to connect the user's needs and the business's goals with what's actually feasible to build. As an interaction designer at Google, my team and I are responsible for defining the user experience for security and privacy-related tools. In my world, users always come first. There are also visual designers who focus on how a product or technology looks. They might be responsible for designing logos, illustration, or icons. They might also decide font color and size or work on product layouts. Motion designers are another common type of UX designer. They think about what it feels like for a user to move through a product and how to create smooth transitions between pages on an app or a website. Similar to UX designers, there are also graphic designers who create visuals that tell a story or message. Graphic designers usually work on the appearance of a physical product, like an invitation or a poster, while UX designers focus on how users interact with the product. Outside of design, there are many other roles in the field of UX. Collaboration is an important part of a UX designer's job. So let's talk about a few of the most common colleagues a designer might work with. UX researchers conduct the studies or interviews that help us learn how people use a product. Then, there are UX writers who think about how to make the language within a product clearer to make the user experience more intuitive. This could include writing labels for buttons or adjusting the tone to be formal or friendly. Next up, we have production designers, who often act as a bridge between interaction designers and engineers. They make sure the first and final designs match in the finished product materials and that the assets are ready to be handed off to the engineering team. The assets are everything from text and images to the design specifications like font style, color, size, and spacing. Which brings us to the UX engineers, one of the groups that UX designers work with most frequently. UX engineers translate the design's intent into a functioning experience like a website or an app. And finally, UX program managers ensure clear and timely communication so that the process of building a useful product moves smoothly from start to finish. This might include setting up goals and writing project plans. In this video, we've explored different types of UX design roles you might pursue, and introduce you to other colleagues you might work with. Coming up, we'll talk about how to create a good user experience through design.